13 News at 5 begins with breaking news in the Delphi murders case. Now, just minutes ago, the judge issued an order which will have a big impact on the trial.
Richard Allen is accused of killing two teens, Abby Williams and Libby German, here in central Indiana back in 2017. Our senior investigative reporter Bob Siegel joins us live here in studio with more on what he is able to reveal from this new just issued court order. I know you're just combing through these documents.
We literally got these just about 10 minutes ago. These are coming straight from the Carroll County Court. Now, what this all boils down to is whether or not Richard Allen's confessions, his alleged confessions, are going to be admissible at trial, and we have found out all of those supposed confessions that he made about saying that he was responsible and that he killed Abby Williams and Libby German. The judge says all of those are going to be admissible to a jury at trial. So we want to go into some more details now for you right now. Again, we just got this from the Carroll County Court. At issue, 61 confessions that Richard Allen supposedly made, and there are 3 different types of confessions that he allegedly made while he has been in custody. First, to a prison psychologist, also confessions that were made to his family. And here's what the judge said about that. The judge said that statements given to the defendant's family members were voluntary, not coerced by any state action, and were not made under the threats of violence or improper influence. He initiated the communication with his family, and therefore Judge Gall says that all those statements are going to be admissible. Now, when it comes to other confessions that he made to other folks inside prison, the judge said further, the statements given by the defendant to the correctional officers, inmate companions, the warden, mental health personnel, medical personnel, and the Indiana State Police, those were unsolicited by any of those individuals and were voluntarily given without coercion or interrogation. So she said, for that reason, those statements are going to be admissible. In addition, statements that he allegedly made to the prison psychologist that he was speaking to, the judge says those are admissible as well. So that's very important, all right? Obviously, that is going to change somewhat the complexion of the trial, what the defense is going to have to deal with, what the prosecutor is going to be able to introduce. Coming up at 6 o'clock, we are going to have more information, more analysis about exactly what this is going to mean in the Delphi murders trial. This is one of the key decisions that we have been waiting on about whether or not these confessions were going to be suppressed. They are not going to be suppressed. We now know that they will be able to be introduced to a jury at trial. The other big issue that we're still waiting on, the defense wants to introduce alternate theory that someone other than Richard Allen committed these murders. We are still waiting for the judge to rule on that. We expect that the next day or two, but we will certainly have much more on these big developments and this motion and this order that came down from the judge just a few minutes ago up in Carroll County.
This is a key development for prosecutors here. You mentioned 60 confessions.
Over 60 alleged confessions during the time that Richard Allen was in 2 different state prisons. Now, his defense team says that he was not in his right mind during that time, and that these were coerced, and that he was having hallucinations and other things during that time period. The judge addressed that information, and we'll talk about that more coming up at 6 as well.
This trial was to be in May, but has been postponed. Just real quickly, what is the timeline? We've been waiting for rulings like this, pre-trial rulings.
Yes.
Where do things stand right now?
Well, where things stand right now, this is one of the big rulings that we've been waiting on. Like I said, the other about alternate theory about other people who may have committed the crimes, that we expect possibly within the next 24 hours or so. But as of right now, jury selection is scheduled to begin on October 14th. Opening arguments to a jury would then be made a few days after that, and we are expecting what could be up to a 5-week trial with a sequestered jury from Allen County being transported to Carroll County, to Delphi, to be able to have this trial in the community where Abby Williams and Libby German were found murdered back in 2017.
We're just getting this court order in, Bob, but we know you have to go take a look at this, look deeper into what's happening here. You'll be back a little bit later to break down any new information that you've learned. Thank you so much. This is Bob Siegel, a senior investigative reporter here.
You know, we have been following this case for the last 7.5 years after learning of the deaths of Abby Williams and Libby German on Valentine's Day. You can see all of our past coverage online. All you have to do is scan the QR code on your screen, and it'll take you right to WTHR.com/Delphi.
And we've got some more breaking news that we want to get you caught up on tonight.
A crash in downtown Indy is causing some real problems for drivers during the evening rush right now. And this is right outside the station. We're at 10th and Meridian, and we want to show you a look at the lines that are down right now at 11th and Meridian. A car crashed into a pole about 20 minutes ago, and that impacted power, knocking it out to this intersection.
So if you are heading this way to get on I-65 or to go to Butter at the Stutz, you should just keep in mind that traffic is backed up in this area. You may want to find another way to your destination. I know a lot of people trying to get on the expressway here at rush hour. And tonight, the cremated remains of 2 men are now resting at a new memorial for the victims of the Fox Hollow Farm suspected serial killer.
This is the memorial that we first told you about last week. Well, today it was dedicated with the names of 9 identified victims, and now their families do have some closure in this case that dates back 30 years.
Rich 9 takes us to the ceremony, remembering the victims, including those yet to be identified.
This monument marks the final resting place for the innocent souls who lost their lives at Fox Hollow Farm.
The limestone monument dedicated Thursday at Hamilton Memorial Park Cemetery in Westfield, just 4 miles from the Fox Hollow Farm estate, where Herb Baumeister is believed to have killed a still unknown number of men more than 30 years ago. The cremated remains of Jeff Jones and Alan Livingston were placed in the ground at the memorial donated by He Knows Your Name Ministry.
Honoring victims and their family is finishing a story. It's bringing beauty from ashes. But please hear me say that doing this today does not undo the horror of this tragedy.
I still felt a sense of it being surreal. And because it's such a large case and such a wild situation, but to actually see this today brings something that's less surreal and brings some realness to it. And I'd rather the realness come during a time of light and peace as opposed to the tragedy.
The names of 9 men are on this memorial, but 10,000 remains have been recovered at Fox Hollow. The hope is that this memorial will bring more families forward and perhaps lead to more identifications.
To those families that may be waiting to have a loved one identified, you've been grieving in a darkness for 30 years of unanswered questions. Please understand we also see your grief and that we are working diligently to provide you with a path of closure.
And a permanent place where these men are no longer forgotten. In Westfield, Rich Knight, 13 News.
Thanks to Rich there. And investigators found the remains of 8 men on the 18-acre property in the 90s, and the Hamilton County coroner reopened the investigation. That's when another victim was just identified last year. And the coroner asked that any family who has a missing loved one who may be connected to the case to contact their office. Angela?
Ann and Felicia, it's another uncomfortable afternoon. Heat index values near 100, right at 100 in Shelbyville, 99 in Bloomington, feeling like 102 in Bedford. We also have some storms firing up on live Doppler 13 radar, just below severe limits. But we've got lightning now across the southern sections of Marion County. That will move outdoor activities inside. Heavy rain over northern Johnson County from Greenwood to New Whiteland to just west of Franklin, south to about Columbus and just southeast of Martinsville. Downpours covering the northern and eastern sections of Putnam County as well. These storms really aren't moving, but they're putting down some heavy rain. Flooding will be an issue.
Thanks, Angela. In less than an hour and a half, some people on the northeast side will get together to remember the lives of 2 people shot and killed.
One of the victims was a little 3-year-old boy. The vigil taking place at the spot where they lost their lives. That's near East 75th and Shadeland Avenue.
And that's where Karen Campbell is live tonight. Karen, fill us in.
Yeah, I mean, this is just another tragedy that just simply makes your heart drop. We spoke with the pastor of Castleton United Methodist Church. He tells us he's lost count for the number of vigils that he's had to pray over. And tonight at 6:30, another one. 2 people who lost their lives, a 22-year-old man, a boy who just celebrated his 3rd birthday, is happening here at 6:30, 75th and Shadeland, in this shopping center parking lot. That's where family and friends and those who knew these 2, the community, are going to come together to pay their respects. 22-year-old Jay Sean Johnson and 3-year-old Armani Booker were found by an off-duty Lawrence police officer shot in a car outside of this strip mall on the northeast side of Indianapolis Monday night. Armani had just celebrated his 3rd birthday. IMPD still searching for the person or people responsible for their deaths. On Thursday, their families, friends, and the community will help honor their lives gone too soon.
I mean, it's important for us to come together and to pray for God's peace and hope to be with the family, but really for all of us. And it's a way for us to really come together. And that's the hope for tonight, that it's a gathering of all of us, of the whole community.
Pastor Matt Landry of Castleton United Methodist Church is helping lead a prayer vigil. He says this tragedy should serve as a reminder to be more kind to one another.
But also to be a nonviolent and peaceful presence in our community. You know, whatever arguments there are or challenges we all face, there are ways that we can serve each other, help each other, pray for one another, and hopefully that'll, again, take us from being strangers in the community to really truly being neighbors.
The goal, to surround the family in prayer and in love, to let them know they are not alone.
I hope and pray that's the message they receive and feel tonight, that they are loved, they are seen, they are heard, and they are loved by this whole community.
And again, that prayer vigil starting at 6:30 tonight here at 75th and Shadeland in this parking area. Of course, anyone is invited tonight, guys.
Thank you so much, Karen Campbell reporting. We have more coming up. Getting to work on the Henry Street Bridge.
When the city of Indy plans to begin construction on this long-awaited project. That's new here at 5:30.
First at 5, mishandled child sexual abuse cases.
The new report finding the FBI is still slow to investigate these cases even after the Dr. Larry Nassar case.